Yo, what's good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're updating our MLB The Show top 5 pitchers list, breaking it down by best right-handed starters, best left-handed starters, and we're going to do the same thing with relievers. But before we get into it, I have a huge announcement to make. I made a Discord server last night. I'm always getting tons of comments asking me about lineup advice, about what player I think is better for you, investments, and a whole lot of comments. I won't stop answering those comments. I will do my best to answer every single one of them like I always do. But I just feel that the Discord is a whole lot smoother, more efficient way to just connect and help you guys with your questions. Also, we can grow the community. So I'm going to leave a link on every video from now on every video description with a link so you can join the server and I can answer your questions there. That doesn't mean I will just stop answering YouTube comments. So if you're not on the Discord, feel free to leave your comment. I will do my best to answer your question. Now back to the video. Let's talk pitchers. Okay, this list is based on my personal experience playing MLB The Show, and you already know pitching is extremely subjective, even more so than players. Especially now, everybody has a 99 overall card with very similar attributes, if not identical sometimes. So for me, when I think of a pitcher as elite, is someone that I can not only dominate on the mound, but I've also struggled when I faced him. So that's very important to me. If I dominated with him, but I shell him, I think he's good, but I don't think he's as good, you know? And second, if they can perform across multiple difficulties, meaning if you can use him when you're climbing all the way to Legend on Hall of Fame, and once you get to Legend, you can use him. Obviously, every pitcher is viable on Legend. It really comes down to pitching preference at that point. But mainly All-Star and Hall of Fame, which is I know a lot of you guys mostly play on. So if you're new around here, subscribe for more MLB The Show content in the future. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, maybe you learned something new, and consider joining the Discord so you can say you were here before we hit 100k subs. As always, I will have chapters and a pinned comment with timestamps on. Let's get into the video. Starting off, we have a couple of honorable mentions here for our right-handed relievers. Yesterday, we got a whole lot of bullpen help. We all know the deadline is all about improving your bullpen, and that's what we got in game 2. So buckle up. A whole lot of things changed yesterday, especially with the bullpen. That's why I'm starting here today. Lee Smith, I love this card. You can use him on All-Star, you can use him on Hall of Fame, you can use him on Legend. He throws gas. That forkball is it looks the same out of the hand. You can work the cutter with the slider. There's a whole lot of things you can do tunnel with this guy. The only problem with this card is his per nines are not very good. I think he has like 108 hits per nine, something like that. It's not very good, and that's I have him P4. So I think he has like 103 hits per nine as his base attributes. So not very good. I used him a lot. He was one of my go-to relievers out of the pen. He was not my closer, but you know, just when I needed to go to the bullpen and I needed a right-handed, I was using him for the majority of the time. If you're on a bad server, which if you have watched my tips video, you should never be playing on a bad server. But let's say you end up on one of those, big speed differential guys are king in those instances. Joan Duran, I really wanted to put him in S tier, in the top 5. Some people will make an argument for that. He's very weird and janky, and he has very good control for a Duran card and with a sweeper now, but I just don't really like his the fact that they give him ally on the splitter. It's probably not going to work. I have not used this card, I will say. I have not tried him out. I have him. I have not used him online, and not even against the CPU. But I think Felix Bautista is better than this guy. He has a better pitch mix in my opinion. You're only working with a splitter, the sweeper, and the outlier fastball. Joe Nathan, he is kind of expensive. He's probably gonna drop to like 15K, 10K, probably like 10K at some point. Now when everybody just gets the BR Rewind pack. And this guy is only like a Hall of Fame and above. I really wouldn't be using this card on All-Star. And Pernice are not amazing. He's a control guy. So for that reason, I cannot put him in the top 5. And he's kind of expensive too. So let's move on to the top 5 right-hander guys. As you can see, we got 3 new faces here that just came out yesterday. Felix Bautista, I think he is the man. He's extremely janky, funky release. The splitter and the four seam look exactly the same out of the hand. You have the sinker to tunnel that, as well with the slider. He's the best reliever. He's my closer. He's my guy. I trust him. I don't care if I'm facing 3 lefties. I'm putting him if I need to get those 3 final outs. Brock Stewart, very similar to Evan Phillips, but he has 5 pitches. Perfect pitch mix. Speed differential is not amazing, but he will make it work. He has that circle change. He's basically Evan Phillips with a circle change. He's not as funky as Evan Phillips, but I guarantee you this card will be amazing for you, especially if you're on Hall of Fame and Legend. Evan Phillips, he's my guy. I love this card so much. I've only given up 1 run in like 15 innings with this guy. He is amazing, very funky, incredible control. You can dot that sinker every time in the corner. Same thing with the cutter. And that sweeper is one of the most disgusting pitches I've seen all year. I'm really surprised why I don't see him online a lot. I know he was like 25K, but I'm sure his price dropped. I think last night he was like 15K. I think he is a must. But being able to get a couple of other cheaper cards or free cards like Brock Stewart or Tyler Rogers, I see why people will shy away from him. And he doesn't have outlier. So on All-Star, I probably wouldn't be too comfortable using this card, but he's funky, and that sweeper will get some bad players swinging at absolute garbage in the dirt. Tyler Rogers. On All-Star, I would be very careful with this guy. I get that you can tuck the sinker in the corner every single time, especially on All-Star, because the par size, he will basically have no pars on All-Star, especially if you're on pinpoint. But I will say it's very easy to just slam your PCI in All-Star. So I'd be very careful when using this card. I probably just use him to get people that just swing at garbage and abuse that slider. On Hall of Fame, I used him. He's very good. I cannot imagine what the pain that is going to be to face this card on Legend. It's going to be so annoying. I think he's a must on your bullpen just because he's so different than everybody else. He's a different look. Like, imagine going from facing like someone like, I don't know, like Roger Clemens that throws just gas 103 every time, to this card. You want to bury things out of the bullpen. So Ryan Helsley, I think he's probably the best reliever that we got yesterday. Outlier, they give him a cutter now. So he has an outlier four seam with a cutter and a slider. He's basically an updated version of Kopech and Rob Dibble with amazing per nines. And he has that fourth pitch just to show it. You can throw it every once in a while. I think he's going to be amazing, and he works on every difficulty. Same thing with Bautista. I think those two are a must in your bullpen. Obviously, Felix is kind of expensive, so I don't know if I would go out of my way to get him, especially with all the free and very cheap cards that we got yesterday. If you don't have him, you can wait until he drops in price or somebody else replaces him. A couple of weeks back, I would say Felix is a must, but now I don't think he is. Let's move on to our honorable mentions for our left-handed relievers. I got Andrew Miller, Josh Hader, and Wroblewski. Hader, I hate this guy. I cannot touch him to save my life, but I feel like everybody hits him very well. I don't know. He's just so weird to me. I can never hit this card. But I've used him and he has gotten shelled. So I cannot rate him very high for that. But he's still here. If you're facing someone as bad as me, you're probably going to fry. Robleski, he has the pitch mix and the control and the stamina, but doesn't have no speed differentials. The only thing about this card is you're tunneling that cutter and that sinker with great control and a funky release. If your opponent doesn't get fooled by that release point, you're fried. You're cooked. He's going to get destroyed. I've used him 3 times and he has gotten absolutely lit up. So he's a no for me. Andrew Miller, I do extremely well with him, but I crush him. So he is kind of like the opposite version of Josh Hader for me, where he's great for me, but I feel like everybody just tries to get a little bit too cute with this card instead of just spamming that slider inside, which is disgusting against righties, and try to tunnel that with the sinker, the four seam, and always, change things up with a changeup. Everybody just tries to get cute and they float a slider trying to backdoor it. They hang a sinker when they're trying to get too cute. This card doesn't have the best control. So you're going to hang some pitches. Don't try to get cute. Just play to the card's strengths. It's not controlled. Don't try to get cute. Let's move on to the top 5 now. He was very close to making it though. Morejon, he's still the man. One of my go-to guys out of the pen whenever I need someone with a sinker, outlier sinker. He throws extremely hard. He has the perfect pitch mix. Maxed out hits per 9, maxed out clutch per 9. He's that guy. Billy Wagner, I've used him twice. He got chilled once. He still has 5 pitch. He has a 5 pitch mix. He's disgusting. He throws gas with that outlier. So he is probably the best closer left-handed reliever. Chapman, he's still here. He's still here. Control is not the best. It's kind of easy to lose the strike zone with this card, but people just see Chapman and they immediately start swinging out of their shoes. So I would say probably try to pitch backwards with this card. I feel like a lot of people are just expecting 104 of the hand, which is not the case this year with Chapman. He has that intimidation quirk, so that helps him. Danny Colum, I don't know why we didn't get a new Danny yesterday. I was extremely hyped. That was the card that I was really waiting for. I knew we were getting a Correa. I knew we were getting a Castro, but I really was hoping for a 90, at least a 98 Danny Colum. But he would have been too much, too overpowered. So that's why I think they held themselves back there. But this card's still disgusting. Obviously, if you're an all-star, I probably wouldn't be using this guy. Hall of Fame legend. He's extremely funky. You can tuck that sinker. You can tuck every pitch this guy throws in a corner. You can tunnel it. He's disgusting. I don't care that people have seen him all year. He's still that guy. I have like an under 2 ERA in like 30 innings with this guy. He's my only reliever that I got P5. Gregory Soto, if you don't have Billy Wagner, he's a must in your pen. 5 pitch mix. He's obviously, I'm not saying he is Billy Wagner, but he is very good. He's very similar to Morejon, and he is one of the guys that you need to have in your bullpen. Lefty with 5 pitches. I know they're more common now than they were at the start of the year, but he's still the man. 5 pitches, sinker. The only thing that sucks about this card, it doesn't have a cutter, but you can make it work. I think he's very good. Let's move on to our starters now. Spoiler alert, before I continue with the video, I'm gonna go on a little rant here, so be prepared for that. I'm not going to be too negative. I really don't think that's the point that I'm trying to make here, but I highly recommend that you hear me out. If you're watching this video, that means you have not hopped on Madden yet, so you're probably going to be playing this game for at least another month, and it's definitely going to affect you. All right, so now with that out of the way, if you don't want to hear me out, you can just use the timestamps on the comment, the chapters, and skip right ahead. So last night I pitched Clay Buchholz for the first time, and I also faced him for the first time. And I made a couple of swings like this. I'm sure my opponent also made a couple of swings like this. And before you go and be like, oh, well, you shouldn't be missing changeups down the middle. What do you mean you don't hit it perfect for a home run? It's like, that's definitely a skill issue. Well, one, don't do that to yourself. We are not machines. Everybody misses those pitches every single day, even the best players. Unless you're crying on a burner, you have no reason to be leaving comments like that. If you're rage baiting, that's 0 out of 10 rage bait. That's not funny. If you're being sarcastic, then cool. You know, you're making fun of those people. That's fine. But those swings really got me thinking. The end game of this game really has potential to be just a shit fest, completely RNG based, and it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun. Just relying on whether the game decides that you made a good swing on a pitch that shrinks your PCI. I might as well just be rolling the dice at that point. I'd be more happy if I was just rolling the dice to see if I got a hit or not, because you're going to be making swings like that, and if the RNG decides that you made a good swing, then you're going to get rewarded. And if it doesn't, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to get weak line outs, weak fly outs, or you're going to be getting bloopy singles. And we know how this game thrives on consistency. So that means you're either going to be in a lobby where you and your opponent are just lining out like crazy, hitting weak flyouts, weak grounders, or you're going to be in a game where you and your opponent get 30 hits apiece, 20 bloop singles for each side. Of course, that's not going to happen. You're either going to be getting screwed, or you're going to be keying, getting those bloopy singles. I really fear for a lot of controllers. I know a lot of controllers will go down, maybe even some monitors, because it's going to be disgusting. And now that I'm saying this, it really got me thinking. That it has to be the reason why they have abstained themselves and they have not released a juiced 99 pitcher as a collection reward, because they know they fucked up with that whole PCI thing. We all know it's one of the worst and stupidest things they could have done. I'm not gonna complain about that because I don't have a solution, and I don't like just bitching about things if I'm not going to support anything that's going to help or make the situation better. But you know that was one of that idea was from Ashley Sanders. She was like, oh, you know, I have an idea. You know what? Maybe what if we introduce this PCI shrinking thing? And Ramon, you know, he a freak like that. You know, he really trying to find out if what they say about Ginger's is true. He really trying to find out if Ashley has a soul inside of her, if you know what I mean. But anyways, back to the video. Back to some seriousness. They really didn't thought about it. They introduced GOAT. I cannot even imagine what that would look like. They had to remove it. They have abstained themselves from releasing a juiced up 99 pitcher, because I know we've seen relievers with maxed out hits per 9 that throw slow in extremely slow off speed, and yes, but relievers can only pitch at a maximum 2 innings in this game. And if you go over 1 inning, most of the times you're going to be pitching in the yellow. You lose velocity, you lose break, you lose control, your opponent's PCI gets bigger. So it's not the same as facing a juiced up 99 starter that can just start you and shrink your PCI for 5, 6, maybe sometimes even 6 innings, inducing weak, quote unquote, weak contact just because the RNG is going to, you know, do some quick maths and decide whether it was a good swing or a bad swing because of the PCI shrinking. I know we're going to be seeing a lot of screenshots where it's literally the exact same pitch, same exact location, same exact velocity, same exact PCI placement with completely different results, and it's going to be hell. I don't think that's going to be fun. At that point, like I said, I'd rather be just rolling the dice if that's what the game is going to turn out to be. So I don't know what we're going to do. I don't even know what it's going to be like facing someone like Maddox. It's going to be disgusting. And yes, well, we're going to be starting seeing pitchers, my bad, batters like George Brett, Ted Williams, maxed out content. I don't think it's going to matter. It's still going to be RNG based. Hall of Fame is going to take the biggest toll. That game is where the PCI won't be small enough, where it's going to be extremely hard to get a good swing. So if you put PCI on ball, you're either going to get rewarded or screwed. You're either going to be raging at your monitor or keying because you're cheating your opponent. And before you say, oh, well, that's baseball. That's baseball. You've clearly never watched a single inning of baseball in your life. Baseball, the bloop single is the most common hit in the sport. Baseball is the most humbling sport. If you fail 70% of the time, you're still considered elite. I mean, this is a video game, man. Like, honestly, we're not trying to play baseball, in my opinion. Baseball is so boring. If you're trying to play a game, I want the game to end in 30-40 minutes. If I'm playing full 9 innings, I'm not trying to sit there 3 hours waiting for the pitcher to throw the ball 15 seconds each time. That's not what the majority of the fan base looks to play with. I'm sure the majority of the people will agree with me. But if that's your opinion, then that's your opinion. I don't care. But yeah, it's going to be RNG based. And I really worry about that. After last night, I think it has potential to be just a shit show. And it's going to suck, but because I feel I won't be playing a game like that. Because it's going to be RNG. Just roll a dice at that point, in my opinion. But anyways, enough yapping. Back to the video. Clay Buchholz, honorable mention. He's not usable on All-Star. On Hall of Fame, he's good, and I think he's going to be amazing on Legend. Kyson Witherspoon, he's kind of like a Pedro Martinez. He throws gas. He throws out of the stretch with a cutter. Doesn't have the best speed differentials. That's why I have him here. And Kluber, he's good on Hall of Fame. He is nasty on Legend. And you cannot use this card on All-Star too, so that's why he is here. You can tunnel, but he doesn't really have like nasty stuff. You're inducing weak contact with this card. Same thing with Buchholz. So the top 5, Nate Pearson's still here. I think he is the man. He has very good per nines even at this stage of the game, and he has nasty stuff. That outlier, he's one of the most consistent starters in the game. His outlier is always touching at least 102. Slider is extremely fast. Tunnel that with a slow ass changeup. He has a very deadly pitch mix. He's not outdated by any means. Clemens. We ain't going nowhere. Clemens is still here. Just when I thought we were going to get rid of this guy, he's still here. And it's mostly because they have not released any good 99 right-handers just yet. But he's still here. That outlier, obviously, he's not as dominant because people have seen this card for so long, and he's not as good anymore. And he was honestly, he doesn't have the best stuff, but you can still make it work with him. Some people still shit their pants when they see him because of that PTSD from the beginning of the year. They have a mental blockage. Ubaldo Jimenez, I think this card is trash, but he's here just by default. Honestly, I don't think anybody in the honorable mentions is better than this guy. I think for All-Star and Hall of Fame, I think he's better than Kluber and Buchholz, just because he throws harder and he has a very funky, janky release. I will say if you really think of pitching as an art, then Buchholz and Kluber will be better because you can tunnel better with their pitches. With those cards, those cards have better speed differentials, so that's that. But this card you can still make it work. Strider, kind of a surprising one. If you're an All-Star and Hall of Fame, you're going to be frying people with this card. Every pitch he throws, it's 103 with his fastball. Every single one, every single time. He's never bottoming out. at 99, 100. He's always throwing 103. I guarantee you, just go and try him out. He's a force pitch mix, so I know it goes against a lot of the things I say, but he just fries. Obviously, we're getting to a point where a lot of the casual players that play on a 60-inch screen hit on directional with a very weird camera where they see the whole batter. Those people can never touch the outlier. Those people, the majority of those people are gone now, or will be gone in the next couple of weeks. So outlier is not going to be as dominant and as a free win in those lower difficulties as it is at the earlier in the year. But this card is going to be maxing out 103. If you're on a bad server, bad connection, he's going to be very hard to catch up. Obviously, he's a one-trick pony because he doesn't have the best pitch mix. But I have to include him here. I have to. For All-Star and Hall of Fame, I think he's much better than Kluber. And he's free. Corbin Burns. Burns, you can tunnel with this card. He's not as funky, but he throws hard. That's really his niche with this card. You can dot the cutter and the sinker, tunnel off of that, and he's going to be better in those lower difficulties. I don't really have a lot to say. I think this card is shit. He has been lit up for me, and I kind of do well against him. I don't do amazing, but he has never dominated me before. Let's move on to our left-handed starters. Honorable mentions. Randy Johnson, he's still here by default. Again, we're talking about All-Star, Hall of Fame mostly. I really doubt that you're concerned about starters if you're on Legend. Randy Johnson, outlier. People just see their pants when they see him. He has that intimidation quirk. Throws gas. You can lose the strike zone fairly easy. Pars are going to be huge. Per nights are not as bad as you may think at this point of the year. So he's still going to intimidate people and make them shit their pants. It's probably still a free win sometimes, but especially on All-Star with more casual players. Crochet, I think he is ass. I don't know how people like this card and use this card. He has gotten lit up for me. I've lit him up every time I've seen him. I think he's trash. On paper, he looks amazing. I thought he was going to be the left-handed Dustin May from the Topps Now card that we got earlier in the year, but he's not. He sucks. I don't use this card, please. If you're one of the guys that actually figured it out with him, good on you. I'm sure you're very happy with that addition. Chris Sale, I really wanted to put him in the top 5, but he's really a niche guy. He's a gimmick pitcher. If your opponent figures out the gimmick, you're toast. He's more of a casual player, demon, nightmare. We've all been cooked by Chris Sale. I've mentioned this many times in this channel before. So he's still here. If you're facing someone that's going to swing at garbage in the dirt and just be fooled, they cannot never get that timing right because of the release point, then he's a free win. But I don't think he's nasty. He only has 4 pitches. So the top 5, John Donaldson, he's still here. He's still here, especially for those lower difficulties. Obviously on Hall of Fame, I think he's due to get shelled, but he still dominates for me. You just establish that slider as your base pitch, base speed, and tunnel that with the outlier four seam and the forkball, throw in the sinker every now and then. You're going to be frying people with this card, especially people that cannot handle big speed differential jumps. I don't care about the per nines. The stuff is just so nasty. It won't really matter. If you're on All-Star, you're probably playing someone that's not very good at the game. Those speed differentials will really make him have a bad time. Obviously, par size are huge. Your opponent's PCI is going to be the size of the strike zone, so you're going to be giving up a lot more perfects. But I still think he's here. I still think he is him. Al Leiter, best pitcher in the game, wants to hit Hall of Fame. I don't know what it is about this card. His sinker feels like 100. I'm sure it has outlier. They just don't never tell you. Best pitcher in the game, in my opinion, is extremely hard to hit. Extremely hard to hit. Even if you manage to square something up, It's usually always a line out or a weak grounder. He is the best pitcher in the game as a left-handed starter, in my opinion. Especially now, if you're using the Mets boost, you can just throw Franco in your bullpen, throw Tyler Rogers, Ryan Hesley, Outlighter, and if you have Beltran. I know some people are probably still running Lindor or Soto. Very easy to make this card have. I think with the boost, he goes up to like 114 hits per 9. Or 113 hits per 9. He's very good. He's insane. Kershaw. On All-Star, I'd be very careful with this card, but I still think you can get some people swinging at that curve or that slider. If they're not very good at the game, they're not very disciplined, you can make it work. On Hall of Fame, I fry with this card. On Legend, he's been untouchable for me. Very weird. Obviously, the only downside of this card, same thing with Screwball, by the way, is if you allow a runner on, it's kind of hard. If you are on pinpoint or even analog, that timing is going to be so fast. Very weird. It really takes some time to get used to it, but once you figure it out, that release point out of the stretch is, it's disgusting. It's probably one of the nastiest and jankiest releases in the game once he pitches out of the stretch. Terry Screwball, I cannot pitch with this card out of the stretch, so I stopped using him, but he is nasty. He has the stuff. Probably one of the best pitch mixes in the game. He throws gas with, now that he has Outlier. He's amazing. If you can pitch with him out of the stretch, then he has to be in your rotation. Personally, I cannot. I just start walking everybody. If you're facing someone that's good and notices that, he's just not going to swing the bat. You're going to lower the bases and give up a fluky grand slam. That's how this game works. CC Sabathia, again, very good pitch mix. Very good pitch mix. The only problem with this card, I've used him once and his delivery is so slow. So slow. That's the only downside of this card. If you can, if you're fine with that, if you're cool with that, then you're going to be fine. I was really having a hard time. It was really messing up my release points, my timings. So I benched him. I finally got him back up to full energy, so I'm probably going to be using him today, later on today. See how it goes, because the stuff is so good, and him and Screwball and Donaldson are probably the best pitchers here that can just play in every difficulty, and they're going to be very good for you. So for that reason, I think you have to include him in the top 5. So that is going to be it. I know for the starters, a lot of things didn't really change. It was basically a lot of the same faces. Maybe I took some people out of the top 5, put them in the honorable mentions, but I really had a hard time ranking, especially the top 5 right-handed starters. I really it was just really like personal preference, but I went mostly because the ones that I have in the top 5, I think you can use them on All-Star better than the one that I have in the honorable mentions. So that is going to be it. That is going to be the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any questions, you can join the Discord server. A link will be in the description, or you can always just leave a comment. I will do my best to try to answer your question for you. If you're new around here, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any future MLB The Show content. Tomorrow, I will be dropping the top 5 players at each position. That's for position players, so get ready for that. And also, last time I did this video, I got almost 2,000 views, 39 likes. I'm gonna put a like goal. This is the first time that I do this. I think we can hit 40 like goals 40 likes this time. So I leave that up to you guys. Thank you for the support, and until then, I'll catch you later.
Do it! Just